got a special guest on the show today. This is a real person that I really respect and admire. I want you to do the honors of introducing yourself.
My name is Xavier Miller, and I'm a real estate investor, real estate consultant. I'm the host of Millionaire Mindsets podcast, and I'm the CEO of Park Hill Capital and the Park Hill Capital Foundation.
Listen, man, I've booked a consultation with you guys before, man. Just for one, man, just to really get some insight on the real estate business, but two, because I really love what y'all doing. You know, I love what y'all doing. I'm a fan of what y'all doing. I never want to, miss an opportunity to show you guys love because I see you doing big things. So before we get into the real estate part, let's take it back to, because you was in the military or the Army, right?
I was in the Air Force.
Air Force. Oh, the Air Force, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what would that like? What led you to being in the Air Force?
Okay, so what led me to it was my brother. I got an older brother, right? And we from Chicago, but my older brother, he joined the Navy in 2010, I think it was 2010, he joined the Navy. So he moved to Florida. So after I graduated high school, I moved down there with him for about close to a year. And at the time, I wasn't really sure what I want to do in my future. I was 18, 19, just kind of taking it day by day, working jobs and stuff, but I wasn't really sure exactly what I wanted to do. And then my brother, he used to always tell me hey, he's like, if you think about joining the military, he's like, don't join the Navy, don't join the Army, don't join none of that shit. He's like, go to the Air Force. He's like, trust me. He's like, when we be out on the boats, wherever we go, he's like, bro, they get treated like 5-star. So that was always in the back of my head. So after I moved from Florida, I moved back to Chicago when I was with my parents. And then I was with them probably for about a year. And I'm like, man, I'm tired of being here, bro. I'm tired of being in Chicago, working these jobs. I'm about to go to the military. So I signed up. I went in October of 2013. And the experience was cool, man. It was dope. For anybody that's been in the Air Force, they can relate to what I'm saying. It's real. The Air Force, they got a joke. They call it the chair force because they say they don't really do nothing. And and a lot of that is kind of true. The Air Force is real laid back, real chill. I deployed once. I went overseas to Qatar. And other than that, but it was real chill, cool experience. It taught me a lot because when I went in, I was just turning 20. So I was still super young. I was on my really on my own at this point. So it taught me a whole lot. It matured me a lot. And then I did that. I was in there for 5 years. And then I got out. That's what I started doing real estate before I got out though. But it was just gearing up because I always knew I was going to do that long term. I knew I was going to use the military as a stepping stone to just do other things.
Yo, and what you just said is very important because that's one thing I try to talk to people about is using, wherever you making money, wherever you're having some success at to leverage, your own business or leverage whatever your own investments. So you already knew years ahead, this is what I'm going to be doing. It just took a matter of going through the process of, creating the capital and creating the stability to go in that route, which is dope.
Right. Yeah.
So when you finished the Air Force, because you don't live in Chicago now, correct?
No, I live in California.
So when you finished the Air Force, did you move directly to California or did you go back home?
When I was in the Air Force, I was in California. So when I got out, I just stayed here.
You stayed there. Yeah. Damn, so that was that. So it was a kind of easy transition. You was already felt kind of home in the sense when you finished it.
Because I was here for 5 years, so it was I'm not going back to Chicago. And now my parents retired and they moved to Florida to be closer with my brother and niece and nephew. And my little brother, he's there with them as well. So I'm I ain't going to Florida either because I don't really want to live in Florida. I lived there before. I don't want to live there again. So I'm we're going to stay in Cali. So we stayed, yeah.
Yeah, so I know you already planned on getting into the real estate, but was it a moment that really pushed you, because I know everybody kind of, might have a moment that they either overcome or a moment that you know what, I gotta do this. Was there a moment that happened where it just clicked man, this is the time to do it now?
Right. Well, I would say this. It wasn't a moment where it was I need to do real estate, but it was a moment I had where I knew I needed to get my stuff together financially. And that was in 2016 before I deployed. And so how the military work is deployments typically, you don't really know when you deploying. It's like out the blue for real. Like you just at work one day, somebody come to you and be like, "Hey, I need to talk to you." All right, you've been assigned to go here, and then the time till you leave, it's all dependent. Like sometimes it's a month, sometimes it could be 6 months, but they be like, "All right, you leaving." So it happened to me. So they came to me, they was like, "Yeah, you got 6 months." And I'm like heated. I'm like, man, I ain't trying to do that shit, man. I'm like, gotta go to the Middle East, man. It's hot. I'm like, I wasn't feeling it at all, bro. I'm like, oh man. But before you do that, they make you take these classes, and in these classes, you got to create wills. It's like, Eric, it's the military, you're going overseas just in case anything happens, you die crazy, you need to create a will before you go. So I remember I was making my will, bro. I'll never forget this, bro. I was making my will, right? And I remember they were like, we was writing stuff down and stuff. And I remember, like, in the beginning, I just stopped. I'm just like, looking around, because I'm looking to see, like, what everybody else doing, like, what they writing, like, and I'm like, dang, it clicked. I was like, damn, bro, I ain't got shit. Like I remember it like it was yesterday, bro. I'm like, at the time I had my Xbox, I had a watch that my girl bought me. It was like a $250, $300 watch a girl bought me. I had like 10 pairs of Jordans, and I had like a little money in my savings account. And I was just like, damn, like that was the first time I ain't never had no moment like that before where I really thought, like, damn, like, if I die, I was thinking, like, if I die, I pretty much been living for no reason. Like, what I've been doing. And in that moment, I was like, I felt bad because I was with my girl at the time. This is the early stages of our relationship. So I'm like, damn, as a dude, I feel like shit. Like, if something happened to me, I ain't got nothing for her. I'm like, man, that's corny. So I'm like, all right, I ain't gonna never be in this situation again. So I deployed a couple months later. And then during my deployment, I saved up all the money. I was there for like 7 months. And I say, I ain't spent nothing, bro. I saved everything. I came back home with like 25,000. And then I came back home, and when I came back home like the middle of 2017. And I ain't looked back since.
Man, that's so dope, man, because I know about, the discipline it took to save the money. I know people talk about, like, when you oversee the things like that, it's a little easier, but still that's difficult. That's difficult to, because we all have families, we all have loved ones that might need this or that. So the discipline to still be able to do that and not, give money here or pay for this or do this, to be able to stay on track. Like, man, listen, I got a plan. And you probably even thinking like how I thought was, I got a plan. If you allow me to save this and do this now, it'll be beneficial for y'all in the long run. Just give me that space.
Yeah, and, right, bro.
Yeah, I know that discipline, man. I know how it was.
I know. And it was more like, because I always say this, I'm blessed enough to where, like, my family, they never asked me for, like, money. Like, never, bro. So I'm blessed enough, and like my family not rich enough, but they just all right to the point where they don't need to hit me, or if they do, maybe I just don't know, and they don't, you know what I'm saying? But they never ask me for money. So I always tell people, like, I'm blessed to be here, like, because I know a lot of people that's doing well financially, they family, like, they can be sometimes like a burden financially because they always need stuff like that. But yeah, I was blessed to pretty much be in that situation. But the main thing for me was like telling my girl, like, we ain't doing nothing these next 6 months. I'm trying to get right. And like, it was another situation. I'm lucky enough for my girl she was understanding, and she was with it too. Like, I used to send her, when I was getting paid, I was sending her the money. I was literally sending her the money every week and saying, pick this up, put some of this in RSA, put some of this in the account. And I came home, all the money was there, bro. Like, she didn't spend nothing.
And that's a testament to, to the foundation that you guys have set together. Like you being, a stand-up dude and somebody who had a vision and was amazing, but her having it too and being able to share it with you is amazing. And I think that's something that I see from you when you talk about, how important your woman was and stuff like that too. Well, not was, but are.
Right.
It is to you. I love that, because I think as, us being young Black men, I think a lot of us sometimes grow up under the wrong things, like, women this, or, kind of put them down. But as I became a man, I realized how much, we was really taught a lot of wrong stuff, and how amazing these women really can be, especially when you work together as a team, So that's one thing that I always, salute you when I see that. And I know what it's, I know what it's like. Like someone that I used to be with, we was like that. And I've maintained that even though we split, I maintained that same mindset when I date a woman now, it is, making sure that, we are on the same page and we have the same goals and, it aligns because, who you, end up making a significant other in your journey is important. It can make or break that empire you're trying to build.
Right, it's gonna make it, man, bro. I know from experience, from just from when I was deployed, like the people I was with, a lot of like the guys I worked with and stuff, their situation was like the complete opposite of mine. You know what I'm saying? That girl was probably like always needing stuff or buying stuff. So by the time we went home, I know people that was going home, which was like $5 grand, $2 grand. I'm like, bro, we've been here for 7 months and that's all you got to leave with? Like, I made sure like when I leave here, bro, I'm gonna make it worthwhile. Make it like, okay, it was worth it. But that just goes to show you, like you said, like your significant other, it could be a make you or break you for real. Like, so you can't like, you gotta truly value that position and value that person when you with them.
Without a doubt, man. So take me to your first investment property, because I know people do different things. Some people like wholesale, some people flip, some people like, purchase a property and rent it out. Like, what was the first thing that you did?
The first, I bought a house in Detroit, and it was about 17 grand. It was the income was about $650 a month. So this was my first real estate investment because I've been investing into stocks and crypto before that, but this was my first real estate investment. So I'm like, all right, we just gonna see how this works. So my girl, she found the property. But once again, my girl, she kind of set up the whole play, bro, and she just came like, this what it is. You want to make the move. I'm like, bet. So she came to me with the place, saying how much money it's gonna make us, about 16 grand. But instead of using money that we saved, we went out for properties that cheap, you can't get out a mortgage loan. You got to get like a personal loan. So we took out a personal loan. I think we took out personal loan.
So just to clarify, so what is the cap for, where you can start? Well, not cap, but where is the mortgage loan allowed?
Man, I might be wrong on this, but I think it's either 25,000 or 30,000.
Okay.
It's one of those. I can't remember what it is, but if it's below that, you can't take out a mortgage loan.
Okay.
Yeah, they really don't do mortgage loans for houses that cheap. So yeah, with our situation, we took out a personal loan for like 14,000. So we just put 3 out of our pocket, and we got the property, and then the mortgage loan, the personal loan is only like $300 some a month. Like I said, the tenant paying $650. So you know what I'm saying? So she paying for the loan and she paying us. So to me, it was really like a no-brainer. And then it was like a can't lose situation for real. Cause it was like, all right, worst case scenario, this property value is never gonna go to $0. You know what I'm saying? Cause it's already a cheap property. And if it was to ever just go to 0, I'm cool with losing that because it's only $17,000. It's not a huge investment. But I'm like, the pros though is the value can increase. Like the value already increased. The value can increase and we just keep making money on it.
And you saved a lot of your money.
I saved my money. Yep.
Yeah. So what they call that is what? It's OPM, correct?
Other people money, yep.
Other people money. Listen, man, I have my grandfather and my uncle, they've been real successful in real estate. And that's one thing that they always preach to me is, you want to get ahead, you want to be in business, a good thing to do is to use other people's money. And that's something I took from you guys because I have a certain amount of capital right now, and I was ready to just, go in. But a consultation call with you guys was like, nah, I wouldn't do that. And that was some amazing advice, and I appreciate y'all for that.
Definitely, bro. Definitely. We tell people all the time, like, keep your money. I tell people all the time, don't save to put it down on the house. Just save for the emergencies and keep that just for you can make more plays, do extra plays with it. But if you can use other people's capital, do that every single time, bro. But just don't make sure at the same time you're not over leveraging yourself, but you just use so much other people's capital. But if things go bad, like in a pandemic,
you gotta owe that.
Right. That's the thing people gotta watch out for because you got people that'll overdo that, take out so much capital where they know they can't afford it at the worst case scenario.
So the first deal, you would say went pretty good, right?
Yeah, it's just been real good.
So how soon did you get your second property?
My second property came. It probably came 4 months, 4 or 5 months later. Yep, and that deal was a deal I partnered up with some people on, and we bought two houses that time. I put up, I, I think it was 20,000 total because the two houses both need to be rehabbed.
Mm-hmm.
So it was 20,000 total. The guy, it wasn't on the market. This is a random guy we just met. He's like, yeah, I got two cribs. He showed us the cribs, and we just made an offer right there. Literally signed the contracts on a the car hood.
Mm.
Yeah. Then after that, I bought my next property. Like a couple months after that, I bought another one. I partnered up with another guy, and this property we bought. This property was 18,000, and the rent is $800. And it's our we bought this last year. It's worth. We got appraised for 40 because we put like 4 or 5,000 into it, and we still collecting the rent. So we could we could either sell it, take our 20K profit, or just keep taking that $800 a month.
I love it, man. And I know one thing that in the call I had with you guys stressing, just the numbers gotta be right.
Yeah, they gotta be right.
The numbers is important.
The numbers is everything, bro. The numbers. I tell people all the time, if the numbers ain't right, don't do it. But you got like what people do a lot of times is like people be so thirsty to get into real estate where it's like, all right, even if the deal is like you got a sense like this ain't the best deal. These numbers really don't make sense, but they be so thirsty just to be a homeowner. It's like, all right, cool, let's just get it. And later on down the line, it's like, damn, I should have never bought this property. So those numbers always got to make sense. That's just business, no matter what it's real estate, whatever it is.
And that's definitely like a big difference between what you specialize in and what I specialize in, because your numbers are so much bigger than ours. Is that you can kind of take a chance and learn a lot with a first machine, things like that.
Yeah.
But with a real estate property, that's something. I might spend $1,200 total to start with one vending machine, and even if I make $100, $200 a month, like that's okay when you balance out how much I probably spend for the year, just to learn, learn the maintenance and learn different things. But when you talk about, what you guys do, it's a little more, like you said, people over leverage. It's a lot more to it, to where it's like, don't just be thirsty to jump on it.
Right, because that's real, bro. I'm glad you said that, because a lot of times people would save up a lot just to get that first property, and then when they get it and it go bad, it's like that sour taste in their mouth with real estate, and they never want to do real estate again. And it's like, bro, real estate not bad. It's just that you was in a bad deal, bro. Like I see that a lot. People like, no, I don't never want to buy another house again. I'm good on being a real estate investor. Like, I hate it. Like, bro, that was just a bad situation you was in at the time.
So when you go through, like, when you was starting out, or, your first few, did you do a lot of the stuff with just you and your, with your woman, or did you have somebody who was able to kind of like give you advice or walk you through some deals or things like that?
No, bro, like when we started out, it was just me and my girl like doing the research, and like we reached because we just didn't go into it. We was obviously like saving up capital, and we was researching for a long time before we was like completely comfortable with just taking a step and doing it. So, but we didn't have anybody like in our ear, like tutoring us or mentoring us. I didn't start meeting people until after we started buying the properties, like meeting different people that was giving me game. I was like, yeah, okay, that's dope. But yeah, beforehand, yeah, we didn't really like know. Like I had my older brother and my sister-in-law, they're realtors, but they're not investors. So wasn't able to give me like a lot of their investor game. So they gave me some game though, but like on the investor, it's different from being a realtor and a real estate investor.
Yeah, because I thought about being a real estate investor, but I never really thought about, actually scrap that. I thought about being a landlord and not an investor. I never even thought about investing in different cities and states until coming in contact with you. So I'm like, that's amazing, and I've been around, the real estate business for a little while because of my grandparents, my uncle was successful, but they're landlords, they never did investing. So when I brought it up to them, they were like, oh yeah, that's how you really, that's how the big boys do it. I'm like, oh wow. And Yeah. So that's definitely dope, and you know going through it yourself is important because one thing everybody should learn is that everybody does it differently.
Yep.
You know, there's no one size fits all. Like your story is amazing, but it's also show hard work. Cause you said I did a lot of research by yourself.
Yeah. Hell yeah, man. Cause I knew like if I do this, I'm not just going to take someone's word and like just have them tell me what to do and do it. Cause I know that's how you end up in like bad situations. Like obviously you want somebody to give you the information, but you still need to be willing to do the research on yourself. Like even when we talk to our clients, we tell them like, all right, I'm gonna tell you all this, but I still want you to go look for yourself and just don't take my word. Go look for yourself. You can find this stuff out on your own. You know what I mean? That's just how everybody should be when it comes to being like a learner. Like, you know what I'm saying? Obviously be willing to get game from people, but still be able to it's like a military thing. They always say trust but verify. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like trust what someone says, but verify it for yourself as well. Then actually take the step and experience it. Then you really know. Then like, okay, this is what it is.
So what, you know, because we all, you know, as a business, you know, everybody has a lot, you know, you might experience great success, but there might be a time where some negative when things don't work out the way you initially wanted to. Has that moment happened to you yet?
Nah, not when it comes to real estate. It hasn't. Not real estate yet. With other things, it have I'm trying to think. I know. What did I invest in? I invested into something Snapchat. I invested into Snapchat, and it went like I guess I invested too late, and this was like in 2017. I want to say, like, yeah, that went bad.
That's probably the one app I have not ever used.
You ever use? Yeah, I used to use it like in 2016, but then like 2017, I stopped. I wasn't using it that much. But I don't know why I bought shares of it. I don't know. I was tripping, bro. But yeah, that was the one like as far as like business. That's probably like the one thing I regret with investing in Snapchat.
And you attribute, you know, do you attribute you not having, you know, too many like, you know, things go wrong with your real estate business because of all the hard work and due diligence that you put into researching, learning about the property, checking with, well, you know, because you got contractors, you know, home inspectors, you know, different things like that. So doing all of your work and research, you feel has paid you back as far as not having, you know, anything go wrong really.
Hell yeah, that's definitely the answer, bro. Like before doing the deal, analyzing everything, so I know exactly what to expect and what's going to happen when I get in the deal. So that's why I really haven't had any reverse for real estate. Like we didn't have tenants where there's been like, you know, bad, like, you know, not the best tenants, but other than that, you know what I'm saying, making sure they still pay on time and taking care of the property. I could deal with it.
and you don't mind walking away from a deal if it
Exactly.
just don't
Hell
make
no.
you look too.
Bro, I can walk away from more deals than deals that I've done, bro. Like most deals I walk away from. And sometimes they make sense, but it necessarily might not make sense for me and where I'm at and what I'm trying to do at the moment, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Because I get deals that'll be like, man, this is a really good deal for somebody else. But like I'm not trying to do that right now. I want to use my capital or my resources for something else, or might be for something bigger.
Yeah. So how many properties do you have right now?
5.
5 properties. Are they all in one city or state?
They're all in Michigan.
All in Michigan?
They're all in Michigan.
Yep, but
I was about to say we about to start getting some in Cleveland. That's the next place we've been focusing.
I heard Cleveland is good.
Yeah, Cleveland got a good ass rental market, bro.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I looked there after, you know, consultation with Parkside. I started looking. I'm like, oh, this look really good, man. I might.
Where's that, bro? Cleveland. Like I got a friend that just sent me a deal. He sent me a deal. Was this yesterday or 2 days ago? 2 days ago. It was a duplex. It was like 35,000, and it was turnkey, so it was already ready for people to move into. And it was like the rents on each side was like $800. Like, bro, that's $1,600 a month for a $35,000 duplex. That's a good ass deal.
Yeah, and those properties, you know, what come to like the duplexes, are those the properties that typically don't appreciate too well, and the upside of it is just cash flow? or do the
duplexes appreciate as well. It all depends. Like with appreciation, it all depends on location, what you done to it, as far as like fixing it up and stuff like that. But duplexes definitely appreciate.
Okay, and just to clarify, everybody, appreciation is just how much the house can become worth. The
right, increase in value.
Mm-hmm. Wow, man. That's dope. You in California, got 5 properties in Michigan. So I'm guessing.
I was gonna say I got a mobile home in Cleveland.
Mobile home in Cleveland. Yeah. So that's nice. I see mobile homes is something becoming real popular.
Hey, mobile homes, where's that, bro? I got some friends in Chicago. They mobile home elite investors, and they killing it, bro. Like they killing it with the mobile homes because it's compared to real estate, it's a low entry point. Like you could get a mobile home for $5,000, throw a couple grand into it, rent it out, make $500, $600 a month. You know what I'm saying? Or you could just flip it. Like the mobile home we paid $1,800 for it, bro.
Wow. And you rent it out?
No, because it need to be rehabbed. So we gonna the rehab like $5,000, and then we gonna flip it for like 20. But the thing is, one of my girlfriends, they want to get into it, so we might just sell it to them for like $4,000 or $5,000.
That's dope. That's dope.
I'm like, what was that?
I was gonna ask, how easy is it? Just to get back to the housing and stuff like that. Is it? Well, I don't want to say how easy, but how does it come about? Like getting the what am I trying to say? It's very, very important. The people that look after your property management. I know that's very important to your business.
Bro, when it comes to investing, outside of where you live or outside of your state, that good property manager is probably the most important thing, bro. Like they gonna either make you be like, man, okay, I actually like real estate a lot, or they gonna make you say, man, I hate real estate because you know what I'm saying, you got no way of collecting your rent. If like me, I live in California, something that's in Michigan, I got no way of, you know what I'm saying, getting that money. But a good property manager, they're gonna make sure everything is on the up and up. Like they literally, like I remember for my first property, the first property manager I had was terrible, bro. Tried to finesse me, tried to steal $1,500 from me, bro. Like, and cause
how much?
$1,500. He tried to steal
$1,500. Wow.
$1,500, and that's not a lot of money, but still, the principle of it, like, bro, what, like, cause I guess in his mind, he knew we was in California, and he's all the way in Michigan, so he probably in his mind was thinking, what they gonna do. So I'm like, bro, so we went through like a 2-week thing. I'm calling him every day. He playing tag, running around, picking up the phone, disguising his voice like it ain't him and stuff like that. Like, bro, crazy stuff, bro. Like crazy, bro. I'm like, what is going on? But I know a good amount of people in the area, so they fixed the situation for me. He paid me, and I just hired a new property manager. Everything been smooth, peaches since then.
How many? Do you have one property manager for all your properties in Michigan?
I got 2 property managers, cause so one of them is a close friend of mine. He started his company when I had the one with the wild dude. I just like hired a friend because he's like, I'm starting a property manager. I was like, all right, do you mind doing this for me? He was like, of course. I just started my company. This will give me experience. So it was a win for both of us. Then the other property manager I got was a woman that we met on some other deals we had. She got a property management company, and she's been running it. And she's been the owner game as well. Like, they gonna make or break it, bro. Like and they usually charge, for people that don't know, property managers usually charge anywhere from like 5 to 10% of rent. So if you get like $1,000 of rent, they gonna either get like 50 or 100.
Okay.
But it's well worth it. It's well.
Yeah. No stress, no nothing. You chilling?
Bro. If you don't want your tenant to talk to you and you want them to talk to them about everything, is because if you don't get the property manager, there's gonna be a lot of stress involved. Because anytime something go wrong, they calling you. They're going to be, you know what I'm saying? And they're going to be, if it's stuff that go wrong a lot, they're going to be calling you all the damn time.
Listen, I thought about house hacking, right? Living in one side of a property and renting out to other or the other ones. Yeah. But I'm like, man, even then I would get a property manager. I don't even want them to know that I'm the owner. I'm just a tenant.
Bro, I tell people, we be telling our clients that be wanting the house hack. I'm like, I ain't telling you to do this, but it's probably a good idea to still hire property managers just so they don't know that you own it. Because you want to have that peace of mind. You don't want them always coming to your door, hey, something wrong with the door, something wrong with the sink. Like, he's like, God damn. So just hire, if they don't think you own it, they going to show you, like, you're gonna be really able to see like who they really are, because they just think you they average next door neighbor, not knowing you own the property. So you'll be really a close look on like, oh, okay, I know how this person is.
Yeah, listen, that's funny because with my vending machine business, most times I don't tell them I'm the owner. I'm just here to stock, because they get the same stuff, or they might complain about stuff that ain't about nothing, just because they know you own it. You know, they might want to talk for 10, 20 minutes at a time. I'm like, man, I'm just here stocking, man.
Hey, that's smart though, bro. It's because I swear, when people find out you're the owner of something, it's like you just said, they just come to you about anything. Like,
yeah, it's like the criticism rises up. A lot of things just seem to heighten. Like, oh, once you see CEO, it's like an antenna goes off. I'm like, nah, I just work for the guy, man.
It's best to go under the radar. That's real.
Okay, so the next thing I want to ask you is, one thing that's very, very important in our community, that's been talked about, between, entrepreneurs and those who are not entrepreneurs, is financial literacy.
Yep.
And I know in my, me growing up, a lot of that wasn't spoken about. And I see a lot of pushback now when I see people who are entrepreneurs and who are talking about financial literacy. There's a section of people who don't want to hear it. They think they're putting them down. But I want you, as someone, like you said, who went from, you went to the Air Force, you saved up your money, you invested in different stuff, and you're successful. How important is really learning financial literacy?
It's everything, bro. It's like I tell people this all the time. I'm like, bro, at the end of the day, the country we live in, it's America, this is a capitalist society. Like, money, whether you wanna believe this or not, money is everything. Like, if you ain't got no money, you can't eat. You can't get shelter, you know what I'm saying? You can't get no clothes for you. So you always, knowing that, you always gotta understand money and understand the money game. So that financial literacy game, you gotta be like running toward, like aiming towards that, like trying to become financially literate. Because it's like I said, it's everything. Like, most of us plan on having families. Like, we want to take care of our families. We want to take care of our kids, put them in good schools. If something goes bad, we want to be able to fix it. And that you can't do that without money. So, because a lot of times, like, I know me personally, when I talk about money, I'm not speaking on it from a material thing, like just getting a bunch of material stuff. I'm just speaking on it from a options and being able to have time freedom aspect. Like, that's what it's about. Like, to wake up and be like, all right, I don't want to go to work today, so I'm not being like, I don't want to go and I have to go. Like, that's what having that financial freedom, that's what it's gonna do for you. If you still got your job, you can wake up and say, you know what, I don't feel like going today, I'm not gonna go. If they fire me, I got bread saying I'm good. But I know they probably, because most likely they're not gonna fire you, but you can still just take that time off if you wanted to. That's what it's about. Not like buying cars and a nice house, that's like a byproduct of it, and that's cool, but it's really about having that options. And if things go south, you could protect yourself or do things like that. That's why it's so important for people to understand. And I feel like people don't care that much because they just look at it from a material aspect. They might say, I don't care what I'm gonna do with a Ferrari. I don't care about a Ferrari. I don't care about a mansion. But it's like, okay, if your kid had like a disease or some kind of illness and it costs X amount of dollars, like, then what? You don't care about that either? You know what I'm saying? That's real.
That's real. Yeah, because I was one of those people 3 years ago talking about, man, I don't really care about money. If I make 35, 40,000, I'll be fine. Until, a conversation with my grandfather was like, man, you don't want money. You want options. And guess how you're going to get more options? It's to make more money. And ever since I looked at it from that aspect, I started to make more, because I'm like, that became my focus. Like, man, some days I don't want to get up and go to work. Some days I want to spend more time with my kids.
Exactly.
Some days, sometimes I don't want to have to ask my boss, is it okay if I go visit my mom back at home for the weekend, and not have them say, no, you can't, because not even because I need to be there, just because that happens too. So It's like, yeah, that's you want to create those options. You don't even have to set a numerical number.
Right.
I just want to work to have the finances to be able to do some of the things I want to do when I want to do it.
Because like, people, when you financially stable, because what your expenses are, and how much money you got. So like, damn, and things. So I'll be able to have, you know what I'm saying, be good for X amount of time. Like, damn, I'm doing pretty well for myself. So it's like you said, it's not no numerical number. It all depends on the way you live, what your expenses is. You know what I'm saying? Because people can have $100,000 in expenses a month, and you might see $500,000 in their account and be like, man, he got bread. But if he went without money for 5 months, he paid back to zero. So it's like,
that's real.
Right. It's not a numerical number. It's all on based on how much it costs for you to live that lifestyle you got.
That's real. That's real. So how has the pandemic affected you and you know the things that you have going on?
Oh man, the pandemic, it's like, to be honest, bro, it was like I try not to say it too much because I know so many people going through like
I know what you're gonna say.
I don't want to seem like braggadocious or like, you know what I'm saying, like I don't even know how to explain it, but it's been, bro, the pandemic, it's been great for me, bro. I ain't gonna lie, bro. Like,
same here. So I try not to speak on it too much.
You know, it's like I ain't like, cause we still been making money. Then on the flip side of that, we haven't been spending anything because we ain't been going nowhere.
I think that's the thing that twofold for me is like, on one end, it's like, even if I make a little bit less, it's like I'm making more because I'm not spending much. And then I had a personal goal of saving this amount of money in this time. I've exceeded because I don't spend it on much, and I realized how much stupid stuff I was paying for.
Bro, that's right, bro. Man, this whole thing made me realize how much I be eating out and how much I just been spending on like random stuff. It was like, damn, because I'm like, these past 2 months, bro, we ain't been buying nothing, bro. We've been buying groceries.
Mm-hmm.
That's it, groceries.
Yo.
Groceries and bills, and it's like, damn, I might live like this for the rest of the year, no matter if this pandemic over or not.
Yo, I don't know. You see me tweet, I'm like, listen, man, it's been good to me. Like, that's like, it's like, cause I always, go to the movies, bowling. I do a whole bunch of different stuff, and then it's like, now I'm not doing. I'm like, man.
You don't see how much it add up. That's
like even if the movie theaters never come back, I'm like, man, if I was to pay $20 for a movie on TV, I'd probably save about $40, $50 just being home watching it. Yeah. So
that's so real, bro. I'm like, that's crazy. That's crazy that this pandemic. It's a pandemic for me to realize that, like, bro, I really ain't got to spend no money. Like, just obviously, like chilling at the crib, it could get boring after a while, but. Like I always tell people, you could do stuff in like spurts. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I tell people all the time, like if you want to get your bread right, like you ain't gotta be born all the time. Just go like in 3 months with chilling, not doing nothing. And then you have you a couple weekends where you kicking it after that. Then go right back to 3 months. After a while, you gonna have some bread.
Yeah.
I tell people that all the time, bro, because they think people see it as like, man, if I gotta get my money right, I gotta be chilling that long. I ain't trying to be chilling. It's like, bro, you can just do it. Like, do it in spurts, bro. Like, don't be wilding out all the time. Just sit down for a minute and just be grinding. Get stacking your bread. And then have you a weekend, 2 weekends, 3 weekends where you enjoying life. Then go right back to that.
Yeah, you gotta have that little sacrifice. Like I always tell the story about myself, where I moved back in with my mom for 6 months. To save some money, and I eventually, I took some of those principles when I moved on my own for like 3 months prior to me moving to Philly. So I saved a total of $10,000. And that was the money I used to get started in my business and took off. But like you said, in that spurt, I just took that time, like, all right, for these next 6 to 8 months, I'm going to just save, grind and save. And then when I came here, I did a bunch of different fun stuff, but that spurt of, staying in the crib, just saving, taking a step back to take 5 steps forward was very important.
Facts, bro. And like most people not willing to make that sacrifices because they really don't want to do it. But I always say, I'm like, bro, the time will go by anyway. Like, if you do it or not, you gonna look up and you be like, damn, that was 5 months ago. Like, yeah, if you was just staying down, you would be had way more money from these past 5 months. It's gonna fly by anyway.
Yeah, so it's like if 5 months gonna pass, I might as well have some money while it passes.
Facts, bro. But some people, it's really like all about perspective. And like I realized that like a lot of times people don't understand stuff, they don't grasp it because they really ain't like been told or heard the right perspective yet. Because you know what I'm saying, was to make them be like, oh damn, like just how we talked about the money thing, where like if you just think money in relation to material things all the time, you might not really appreciate or value it like that. But then when you start relating it to your perspective on time and having options and stuff like that, you might be like, damn, money do mean something to me. I'm tripping. Let me get on my stuff.
Nah, for real, man. So like that leads me into my next question. How important is it for you to, to give back this, information and knowledge and stuff like that? How important is it for you to help the next Xavier Miller,
Yeah, it's extremely important to me just because like I know how it is like coming up, like being misguided. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to relationships or money or just anything, it's so easily, especially right now with all the BS with social like shit in abundance, it's so easy to be like, especially when you're young and impressionable, you 16, 17 and you super impressionable, it's so easy to see the wrong information and take it and actually believe it. And then not to years later to your detriment that you realize it was some BS. So with me, it's like I don't even know if it's like intentional with me because it's just like natural with me to just like I've always been that person. Like if I get some information, like ever since I was a kid, if I got something and you come to me and ask me, I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna be like, this you should do this, or here you go. Right, I always been that person, so it's like super natural to me. And like being from Chicago, once again, I know how my situation is like a lot of people. It's similar to a lot of other people's stuff. So if I could just give you whatever this little information I know, it could be life changing for some people.
Yeah, and then they can use that to tell someone else that can change their life and so forth. They start that new cycle.
Facts, bro. Because it's always say like it's super. The corniest thing to me is people that got information or got knowledge or resources, but they just keep it to themselves. Like they don't really say much. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, bro, that's like super selfish to me. Like, you know what I'm saying? You can't die with it. You know what I'm saying? You can't take all this information and resources with you. You need to be willing to like, you know what I'm saying, give it to help your people.
Yeah, for real.
Because most at the end of the day, if you being selfish anyway, it shouldn't matter because at the end of the day, most not gonna listen anyway. It's only gonna be a small.
Listen, that's the unfortunate truth too, man. Which is unfortunate.
It's only gonna be a small percentage that's gonna take what you said and apply it to their life. It's probably gonna be like 2% of people. The rest probably is gonna be like, yeah, that's dope. But it's gonna be a very small percentage of people that actually take it and like implement it and do it themselves.
I agree, man. Yo, listen, it was a pleasure having this chance to have you on the opposite side. Just to say, my podcast interview that I did with you was one of my best ones. It brought a lot of people to me. To this day, people still say, hey, man, I heard you on the Millionaire Mindset podcast, and I love your story and stuff like that. Like, to this day, we did that, like, 3-4 months ago, maybe?
Yeah, that's like 3-4 months ago, bro.
And people still hit me up to this day. So, I'm happy to be able to, extend my invitation for you to come on here.
That's love, bro, for real.
Yo, man, you're a great dude, man. Like I said, I always tell you when I get a chance, you inspire me. I would never, because people sometimes they don't ever want to show too much love because they don't want to seem like they riding or anything like that. Man, I'm giving somebody their flowers because you inspire me. You have an impact on my life even without you trying. Just me seeing you doing what you're doing, how you're successful, you're young, what you're doing with your woman, it's like motivational. So if I can show you some love, man, I'm gonna do it. I want us to be able to do that, man. Like, yo, this dude doing good. I want to show him some love, and make that the norm.
That should be the norm, bro. That's so real. Like, and salute to you for just being that honorable person like that. Because, like you said, most people, especially when it comes to men, like I realize women, they show each other love way more. I don't know if it's like I don't know what it is, but they show each other love. And men, it's more like we kind of shy away from that because we don't want to seem like we dig around or some weird stuff. You know what I'm saying?
The men always gotta have leverage.
Yeah, it's like no, I don't want to, like I've never been that way either. Like somebody doing dope, I'm bigging them up to anybody. If somebody like to this day, if somebody could hit me, come to me and be like, hey man, I'm trying to get in the vending machine, go holler at Marcus. I do this shit all the time. Go holler at Marcus. They come to me about some mobile homes, go holler at this person. Like, that's what they do. I'm not the type of person, because you'll get some people and be like, they'll try to, like, I didn't witness this. People will go to people for certain things, and knowing that's not what you do, but you'll try to get them the information and take so-and-so information so you can get some bread. Like, bro, that's the corniest shit in the world to me. Like, live that to the person that you know what I'm saying? And they solid. Like, just live that to that person. Don't be like that. And what you been, bro, the same feelings you said, the feeling is mutual for me and my girl, bro. We definitely salute what you doing. It's super dope. Like, that alternative, like we look at vending machine as like an alternative route. Like, I didn't really know about that shit till I seen you talking about it. Super straight fact. I didn't know people did that, bro. So when I see you doing it, I'm like, that's crazy. Like, people need to hear about this, because that's another low entry point where you could get some bread. So you just putting that information out there is super valuable, and you might not even realize it because you doing it every single day. You ain't thinking of it, but it's super valuable, bro.
And that's real, man. Like, even when everything kind of blew up for me, like when everybody started following me, I was just talking to people. Everybody asking me questions, I'm answering them. I didn't know I was giving away free game. I didn't know I was dropping knowledge. I was just talking to people who asked me a question, because I'm not above that. I'm not above showing love. I'm not above helping out, So I didn't realize until I sat back, like, wait, man, like, this was something? Because I'm just being myself, And that's, even though like everybody know me as the vending machine guy, I never try to lead with that, because I'm just somebody that own it, I'm just like you. You can do what I do. I'm no guru or no master. This is just what I did. You want to learn how to do it, this is how you do it. I'm not above showing people love. I'm not above helping people out. That's something I see with you too. That's why, like I said, you inspired me, and I'm just happy to have you on my new podcast, man.
I'm happy to be on here. I'm happy to be on here for real, man. Like, I always tell people, just talking about podcasting, because it's a misconception what people think is like more difficult than what it is. You know what I'm saying? So I'm always talking to people like, if you got a voice and you got a perspective on things, especially like speaking to the audience that we speaking to, and they need to hear these things and these stories, it's like definitely think about doing it. And I'm glad you did it too, bro. You actually took the step and you did it. So that's like,
I wasn't going to, man, but I'm like, you know what? If 5 people listen to it, man, I might change 5 lives, man. That's how I looked at it. Like, I might change 5 lives, and those 5 people might change somebody else, And that's like, I don't care how much it reaches. I just wanted to reach somebody. That's all that matters. So now that we're on podcast, man, plug in yours, man, because it's amazing.
Yeah. All right. For everybody, appreciate that, bro. And for everybody listening, my podcast is called the Millionaire Mindsets Podcast. It's available on Apple, Spotify, all streaming services. It's available. And we talk about pretty much similar conversations and topics like we did. We talked about real estate. I have Marcus on. We talked about vending machines. We talked about personal growth, money moves, and all similar stuff to that.
Yo, you gotta let them know how many downloads your podcast got.
we hit 400,000 downloads last week.
400,000. Yo, congratulations to you, man. It's well deserved. It's well deserved. This is one of the best podcasts out, if not the best. Check it out. Where can they find you at? Your socials?
I'm on Instagram, Twitter at Xavier C. Miller. Yep.
All right, man. So you guys heard from the great Xavier Miller. We're going to be connecting. I hope we can do something in the future, the near future. Y'all, listen, please look out for this brother, man, because he's doing big things. If you want to plug in your woman, her too, because she's –
Hey, my girl. Her name is Deanna Kent. She on Twitter and Instagram as well. It's DEANNA Kent. And also, if you're interested in buying an investment property, or you thinking about buying investment property or whatever, you can hit up Park Hill Capital, and that's on Instagram. And you can also go to parkhillconsultingservices.com and schedule an appointment so we could get you right.
Yep, and as you guys heard throughout the podcast, man, I've had a consultation with them. They shifted my whole mindset about what I'm going to do with the real estate business. So I vouch for it. It's definitely helpful, man. So please make sure you guys give them a lookout. And that'll be for today's episode, man.
Appreciate you, dog.
All right, without doubt, man. I look forward to talking to you, bro.
I'll talk to you soon, bro.
And thank you for doing this again, man. I really appreciate it, for real.
For real, love. The feeling is mutual for sure, bro.
All right, I got you. I'm going to holler at you.
All right.